Already starting off this video poorly. One of the books is on the bottom stack. Hi guys. So, the long-awaited video. No one's been waiting for this. But I am doing my best and worst books of 2023. I'm very excited to bring this to you. Let's review everything that I read. So we're going to start out with the worst books of 2023. Let's get the negativity out of here. I'm not going to say the ratings because, first of all, you can find that on my Goodreads, and also the ratings didn't align with how I felt about the books looking back on it. And I know I could always change the ratings, but then I would have to think about it and just be like, nah. But just from pure feeling, how I'm feeling about the book in this moment, that's how the books were rated. It's loosely based on ratings.
I just don't enjoy it. It's not an enjoyable experience for me.
So I have 10 books for each section. Starting with the worst books, we have an audiobook I read, My Dear Janet. It was just an audiobook. I literally think it was 28 minutes, 30 minutes, and it was just what's going on? I just remember it was about this girl, and she all of a sudden got powers to fix her hair, and it made her hair more manageable. I was just like, what is this? And I read it majorly because Keke Palmer was narrating it, and even that didn't save it. So yeah, nah. Number 9, we have Paper Princess. This is Wattpad at its finest. This was maybe, I don't even know when this was released, but it feels like 2014, 2016. It's just about this girl who, she's poor, her mom had died. She became a stripper to find support for her mom and support for herself. And she's just been running around city to city, trying to make a living for herself until this rich man comes to her and he's like,
listen, your father and me, we were like this, and you're my goddaughter.
I don't even know if she actually was her goddaughter, but he was just like, I'm gonna take care of you. And he's a really rich man, and it was Gideon, the one she got with the other one. I think there was twins. So I think there was 5 sons, and there was a love triangle, and it was just really messy. I didn't particularly care for it. And yeah, I don't usually like love triangles, and I didn't like it in this one, but the fact that I didn't care and I just solely read this for entertainment with my friends, I didn't care what happened, and I actually found the love triangle in this enjoyable, but only because I did not care about the characters or what happened. That is the only reason. Number 8, we have Breaker. This is another audiobook I picked up. It's a thriller audiobook. I couldn't even tell you what this is about. I'm sorry. It's about a man who has this child that he has to deliver. I don't know. He saves the child. I couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is it's fine if you don't read this. It's okay if you don't listen to this, because what? No, absolutely not. But this book did teach me that if I want to read a thriller, I gotta physically read it. I can't listen to it because I'd get lost. It's just no. Number 7, we have Twisted Love. I read the entire Twisted series this year. Oh my god. That was a journey. Twisted Love. I loved the first half of it when it was Alex and Ava first meeting, and there was that tension between them. And going into this, I thought these were all gonna be college romances. I was so wrong. The first half is kind of college-y in a way, and then the rest of the book and the rest of the series is just, but this book, there was mystery in it, there was plot twists, just the way that Alex acted. Ava, you're a strong one. I don't understand, because I couldn't do that. No ma'am, no mercy. Spoiler, he lied to her and her brother for years just because he thought that their dad killed his family. He was entirely wrong, and okay, you can have that, you were wrong, okay, but we're not gonna be friends anymore. I'm not gonna like you anymore. You lied to me for 7-8 years. Why would you want to be with someone like that? And then he spent a year with her. She did not want him there. Stop playing. Spent a year in London with her, didn't talk to her. He was just there, sold his company. Okay, if a man did that to me, I would be you're crazy. I don't like you, and you're selling your company, and now you're living in London, walking me home? No. And then he plays a song at this gallery that she's at, and she's like, oh my god, I have to fuck, I love him. No. But I will say they did get better throughout the books. I did like their relationship, but Alex is insufferable. Like, I don't think I've ever, that's a lie. He's up there with like male main characters that I hate. He's up there. He's probably like maybe top 5. I hate him so much. Especially how he was acting in Twisted Hate. Speaking of Twisted Hate, that's next, number 6. Twisted Hate. This is another one of these cases. I rated this one like 3.75. I told you guys I wasn't going to be saying ratings and everything, but I rated this an okay score, right? But the more I think about it, the more this third act conflict beats out anything below it. I was going to put it higher, but I was just like, I don't know if I can do that. The third act conflict just really took me out of the story. Like, the more I thought about it and like creating this list, I was just like, that is unacceptable. What Josh did to Jules in that third act conflict, I don't like that. I don't represent that. I don't condone that. I don't promote that. Absolutely not. And the fact that they are still together, sometimes you guys just don't need to be together, because she lied to him. He did what he did to her. You guys both hurt each other. Why are we still together? And I don't even really like how they were acting in Twisted Lies. I was like, I don't think that's cute.
I just don't enjoy it.
Get this out of here. I realized that all that was digital. All that was digital audiobooks, but now we're getting into some physical books. Number 5, The Disasters. This is a graphic novel. I picked this up at, you know, those stores that I told you guys about that I get these random crazy good books from. Yeah, I got this from there. And I thought this was going to be really good because all of them have been hits. Like, how do I get 3 for 3 hits? You have to lose sometime. You have to lose. This is inevitable. What goes up must come down, and I came down with this book. This book sucks. Okay, so while I was reading it, I was like, I feel like there's something else. There's something more to this book. I feel like we should know these things, because the way things were being written, the way it was paced, I was like, is there another book? And I was thinking this would be really good as a novel. Lo and behold, I go on Goodreads and I see that there was a novel, and this is a graphic novel, kind of like a supplemental kind of thing. You know how, who does it? What was that did that? Cassandra Clare thing. You know how she wrote the book and then she did like some graphic novel for it? Yeah, that's basically what happened here. I'm gonna need her to not do that at all, because basically the story wasn't even that good. Because I went on the novels Goodreads and I was like, oh, it's probably like better because it's more fleshed out, more details. People were saying it sucked even more. Oh, it sucks even more. What do you mean? Yeah, so it's like the magic is confusing. The pacing was terrible. The characters, I'm like, should I know these people? Should I already know this? Duh, I should. But people are saying that the novel isn't even that much better. So I'm gonna put this down, the story. And yeah, thank you so much. Next, I have a book that I don't even have with me. It's up there because I completely forgot that I read it this year. Oh, completely forgot about this book. I tried not to think about it. Number 3, Daisy Jones and the Six. Lord have mercy. I know you see it tabbed and you might think, oh, she liked it and it's annotated. This was not a good book to me at all. I had recently just saw a TikTok talking about Billy and Daisy and how you miss the point if you don't understand that Daisy saying go to Billy wasn't her saying that she loved herself enough to tell. Shut up, stop justifying this toxic behavior. It's one thing to read about it, it's another thing to justify it and be like, oh my god, like Camila, like she just like, no, because Daisy and Billy, they loved each other. Like, I'm sorry, like this turned me into a Billy Daisy ship. Be quiet and please be quiet and delete your account. This is toxic behavior and I will not be promoting it, okay? Camila is a saint. Camila is my saint. She will be going to, you know, that ceremony where they tell them that they're saints? Yeah, she will be in that. Thank you so much. This book, listen, I love the vibes. I love the rock band. I love the style of writing in this. This is so great. I love that. And I love like how the characters aren't perfect. They're morally gray, of course. But what I don't like, I just cannot get behind the emotional cheating. That's just it. Like, I'm sorry. And you can't tell me, like, it's one thing if I knew that going into it. I didn't know that. So it's okay for me not to like that. Anyway, the emotional cheating just really took me out of it. It made me sick. But I did do a dedicated reading vlog on this. You guys want to check it out and know more of my thoughts and opinions on this. But at the end of the day, I just think this book is so sick. Like, it is a punch in the stomach. It is a slap to the face is a knife to the back. I don't think I've ever felt a more sicker moment in a book when Billy got the letter from Camila after she passed and was like, you can call her, or like had her phone number. I don't understand. Like, I genuinely do not understand how you can do that. You knew that this man loved her. Like, why would you want to be with someone that loves someone else? And he clearly didn't respect her. And another thing in the show, I honestly don't remember if this was in the book, but it was in the show where Daisy tells him to go. So why would you want to be with someone that is with you because the person that they truly want to be with tells them that you can be with them, allows them? I don't want... It is beyond me. I can't speak about this anymore. Number 2, we have Nemesis. I'm gonna give this author grace. This is her debut novel, but this is what I don't like about it. It was a bodyguard romance, and there was minimal bodyguard. I think there was literally 2-3 scenes that he was the bodyguard, and then the majority of the book is them being locked up in this cabin and having disgusting sex. So what is this? Not something I want to read. Number 1, the worst book of 2023. God, I hate that I have to talk about this book. Priest. I thought this was going to be an amazing book. I was like, I just solely read this so I could read Sinner. I thought I would follow along in the series. I would do things right. Yeah, no. Worst book I've ever read. Honestly, truthfully, I thought it was going to be a forbidden romance. I thought there's going to be tension laced throughout the book. No, this was straight erotic smut. Like, what is this? There was like such a good foundation for this story. Being a priest who's not supposed to engage in romantic connections, and then this woman, she didn't really have any. The main tension was coming from Tyler, the priest, and like within the first few chapters, he literally has sex with her, like on the ground. Where's the tension? Where's the forbiddenness? And then the two of them, they were just not good characters at all. He was talking about how like he's resorted to vanilla sex or something. I'm like, what are you even saying? Like, I don't even remember what my prominent issue was because I've been trying to forget about this book forever, ever since I read it. He said he had to stick to healthy relationships and vanilla sex, as he's equating being in a good healthy relationship to your sex life being lackluster. Look out, guys, because if you have a healthy relationship with this man, that means you're not emotionally abused. Oh yeah, because he said that the only girls that like the way he has sex are the ones with emotional trauma.
What's going on?
Okay, like what are you saying? I hate this book. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I wouldn't read it if I were you. And I went back and forth between the audiobook, which was so incredibly horrendous. Like, I was literally in art class and this man was moaning in my ear. I wasn't expecting that. And then I was also trying to read it. It was just a bad experience overall. I don't know if I still want to read Sinner. I don't think anything can be worse than Priest, honestly. Enough with that. We're gonna go into my top 10 books of 2023. Let's get into it. So we have our first honorable mention, which is Sunny Disposition. This is a hockey romance. If you know me, you know I'm kind of trailing off with liking sports romances, especially hockey romance. But there was just something about this one that I was just gravitated towards it. And I was right. And this is one of the few times that TikTok has done me right, has actually succeeded in its task of recommending me books. And I really like this book because there was no third act conflict and the characters were in college, but the way they acted around their problems, very mature. I love that for them. And there was a little bit of each trope in here. You might be like, what? But like, trust me, there's like tutor, student for like a smidge of the plot, and a lot of it was forced proximity. There was amnesia. I've never read that in a book before, and somehow this book did it flawlessly. Are we serious? And there was just so many cute scenes. It was very wholesome. I loved it. Number 10, we have Razorblade Tears. I read this during my Black History Month readathon, and if you guys want to feel like you're watching a thriller action adventure movie, read this book. It's just about two dads. Their sons were in love, okay? Isaiah, I don't remember the other one. Derek and Isaiah were in love. Their fathers were not supportive of their relationship, but the two end up being killed, and then the police aren't helping them. Girl, we know why. And so the fathers, Buddy, Lee, and Ike, decide to take things into their own hands and figure out how and why and who killed their sons. So they go on this whole adventure. You learn to love Buddy, Lee, and Ike, and they, throughout the book, start to unlearn their homophobic mindset that they had, and they realize like, hey, maybe instead of being homophobic and not just loving my son, I should have just loved them for who they are, because now they're not on this planet anymore. I honestly did not know who the killer was. I thought I was Nancy Drew. I was sideswiped. This is one of the few times where I genuinely could not guess who did it. And once I figured it out, or once they told me, because girl, I was not figuring it out. Once it was all explained and revealed, blown out the water, I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. That's actually sick, actually. And this is a spoiler, so if you guys don't want to know, skip to this time. But it just goes to show you how some people are just so uncomfortable in who they are that they go to the lengths of causing harm to themselves or other people because they're uncomfortable with who they are. They're uncomfortable with people knowing who they are. And the world is still to this day uncomfortable with people being different than them. Like, come on, and just read this book. It's really good. Number 9, we have Terms of Inheritance. This was a new release in 2023. I'm pretty sure this is also an author's debut novel. This was so good. It was a slow burn, marriage of convenience, romance, and the only critique I have of this book is I wish there was more romantic scenes. It was romantic, but like there was like one like smut scene, and I just wanted a little more, like, please. But it follows this girl, Clementine. She was married to the grandfather of this like business family, and her family and their family come together and they're like, y'all need to get married because this is gonna help the business out. So the grandfather ends up dying, and then she has to marry the grandpa's grandson, and his name is Oaxaca. Oaxaca and Clementine? Absolutely. It starts off being very wishy-washy between the two of them. She doesn't trust him, of course, because he is the heir to that grandpa, and the grandpa was doing dirty, disgusting, nasty things to her. So it took some time for the relationship to build up, and once it did, it was so good. And it was one of those books where you can really feel the love between the two characters, and that's one of my favorite things in romance books. That's the best thing you can do. And it just felt, it wasn't slow, but the relationship was just paced so well, and each day, each new thing that was happening each day was so good. It was so good. It would like go on walks together. One time Clementine got jealous because there was another girl in the mix, and she was just like, what's that about? And she was mad on their walk, and he was basically like, you don't have anything to worry about. Like, it was so good. I recommend it. And the boat scene, if y'all have read this book, the boat scene thing. Number 9, Teeth. This was from that store that I was telling you guys about that, like, did you guys see that? That had no misses. This is one of the ones that were 3 of 3. This is about a guy named Rudy, and his brother is sick, and so him and his family, they go to this island that is supposedly supposed to cure people of illnesses. And on this island, he meets this thing named Teeth, and he starts developing a connection with him. This book is insane. It's nothing like I've ever read before. Like, is this fantasy? I guess. Is it? I don't know. Mystery? It's like so much in this book, and I would highly recommend it, but check the trigger warnings. I don't even know if trigger warnings are available, but there's rape in here, there's sexual assault, and I think that's it. I've never read a book where it truly shows loving someone so much that you have to let them go. This is the example. I didn't think I was gonna like this book, but it ended up being one of my favorites. And I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything, but if you want something that's different, that it's just gonna like jaw might be dropped a little bit, I would recommend this. What are we at? Number 7? Number 7. This is a book from the same shop. The same shop. Tell Me Something Real by Kella Delvin. This is basically about a girl whose mother is terminally ill, and they have to go to Mexico to get this certain kind of medicine to help the mom because it's not legal in the States. This has twists, this has turns, and there's like this eerie feeling throughout the book. It's not fantasy. It's like, I'm just gonna say it's fiction with like some mystery in there and some romance, but it's very eerie. It's nothing like I've ever read before. Like this little shop that I found, I don't know how these books are getting in there, but I think it's a place where books that are crazy and you've never heard of and the plots are insane, that's where the books reside. It goes through this girl dealing with having a sick parent, having to deal with college and her career, and also having this connection with this boy that she does eventually meet, and he's also sick. It's not sad. I almost cried at one point, but once the twist happened, you were wanting to know why this person did it. But the thing was, the book didn't give you a reason. and it explains kind of why it's not going to give you a reason. It's so good. It's so good. And then once you get to the end, you're like, yeah, like I understand like why we don't need a reason for why the person did this, because that like deletes the whole point of the story. So yeah, I would say try it out, see if you like it. It's a short book, not even 300 pages. Give it a try. 6. This was going to be an honorable mention, but then I realized the amount of time that I think about this book, it has to be far. It has to be far. Number 6 is Keep Her Safe by Kay Tucker. Kay Tucker is one of my favorite authors, period, and this is her first romantic thriller. Ever since I've read this book, I needed to read romantic thrillers, specifically by her, but in general. If you guys know any romantic thrillers, please leave them down below. This book was so good. The couple was great. I do wish we had a little more scenes with them, but the mystery was so good. I did do a vlog on this, but I don't like that vlog. I could imagine the setting, exactly what it was. I think, were they in Texas? Yeah, Austin Police Department. I don't know why, but for some reason I could really just imagine what everything looked like and the characters perfectly, and I saw it. It was like a movie. Okay, next book we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is top 5. This book was so incredibly good. So I had read 2 Taylor Jenkins Reid books before. One was a hit, one was a miss. This one could lead us anywhere. This was a hit. This was amazing. This was so good. I love Evelyn. I love how complex her character was. And this is crazy to me. Like in Daisy Jones and the Six and 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, there are characters in both that are complex. They don't make the right decisions. Just difficult characters. But this one was way more digestible and a much better experience to read than Daisy Jones and the Six was. I love her story. I love the setting with this. I love Evelyn Hugo's journey and everything that she had to do to get to where she was, and just the complexity of choosing money and stardom and choosing love, like the toss up between that. Just very interesting to read about. I do have a dedicated reading vlog on this and discussion questions if you guys want to check that out. Okay, number 4 we have Wash Day Diaries. It's a graphic novel and it's about 4 friends living in NYC, right? 4 girls living in NYC, and it goes through each of the girls' wash days and just what's like being a black girl living, and there's some mental health rep. I think that's it. But no, when I read this, I really loved it. Really relatable. And the drawings, girl, the color palette, each character has its own color. I love that. That might be a normal thing. Bro, I don't read graphic novels a lot, but really good. And I want more. So can we make this into a series or... And then the final 3. We have Twisted Lies. This I did not expect to be on my favorite books of 2023. As we can see, 2 books from that series are on my worst books of 2023. So I wasn't really expecting all that much from this book, but I don't know what Miss Anna put into this book, but whatever she did, she had to do it again. Please do it again. This book was great. It really reminded me of the books that I read when I started reading. It had this like mafia-esque, it wasn't, but like it had the feelings of that. There was fake dating. The characters, once again, they felt like they truly liked each other and felt like they were real low-key. I was like, so where Christian and Stella at in the real world? Thank you. Yeah, this book was long, but I feel like it was needed and it helped the book because we got to see a lot of their relationship progress, and it wasn't just like quick, let's be together. For the first like 200 pages, it was very like they did nothing, like absolutely nothing. It wasn't until page 400 that they like started doing things, and then another good 100 pages and then stuff started going downhill. And the third act breakup was so good. I don't think I've ever read a third act breakup or conflict that was just so good. It was so dramatic, and Christian, like he was literally like begging this girl, begging. He was like,
don't do this.
Oh my god, I was like, jaw is on the floor. What do you mean? Who wrote this? This is amazing. And it was just so much fun. What's this on my favorite book in the world? Why is it like that? Someone's getting shot. But yes, they were traveling. He was a billionaire, so he was getting her gifts. This book is a little similar to Terms and Conditions, so I'm a little wary of that. Don't think I didn't catch that, Miss Anna, but I'm gonna let it slide because there's something in this book. And it was the first book in a while where I felt just so excited and giddy about reading, and I couldn't wait for the end of the day where I usually read. I couldn't wait for that time to read it. I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to read Twisted Lies. because it was just so much fun. And I want to try to find romance books that are like that and fun and I'm excited about. And yeah, thank you, Anna. You did one little thing right. Thank you. Okay, our second best book, Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. I'm not surprised. I thought before I even read this book that this was going to be a 5-star read from me. And then I remember I was like, nah, I'm not going to put all that pressure on this book. And then I started reading it and I was just like, I don't think so. 5 stars. I didn't get that giddy feeling like I did with Twisted Lies, but this was such an emotional read. The characters, it's hard to describe, but it's such a wholesome, meaningful romance story and it's second chance. And so a lot of stuff went down, miscommunication, like growing up, and I feel like this just articulated it so well and what usually happens in adult relationships, romantic relationships. And like the third movement, 15 years later, this part was so good. I had such a good time with them in their college days. That was great. But I think the shift into when you get to the third movement and you could just really tell how much they've grown up, just the language and how they talk to other people and their internal dialogue, you can just see the growth. And it was so sad but also hopeful and romantic. What the heck? Matt and Grace, and it takes place in the 80s. I'm like, I'm feeling the vibe. I get it. Some of you may be surprised, some of you may not. You may not even know, but my favorite book of 2023, it's definitely one of my favorite books I've ever read. Fable by Adrian Young. Not only did I find an amazing author that I love, but I found an incredible story, an incredible series that I love so much. This is about Fable. She is left on this island. Her father abandoned her and she's been living on this island by herself and basically surviving until one day, or not one day, but she's been saving up coin to sail to where her father is so she can meet him and be like, hey yo,
why you drop me off here?
And on that journey, she meets this guy, and then she's on this ship with his crew, and their relationship, his name is West. Fable and West, their relationship, it's slow burn, it's enemies to lovers, and there's like such good little crumbs into the book. And there's this like, is it a big, I don't know if it's a big plot twist, but there's a plot twist, and it's just so good. Like, the romance really won me over. I remember when I was reading this, I was giddy, like I was excited, and I remember reading this and I was like, I haven't felt giddy and like supportive of a couple, rooting for a couple in such a long time. And Fable and West, they're so good. They're so good. And minus the romance, the setting, other characters in the book, the descriptions. This takes place on the sea in a ship. They're describing the water. She is also a dredger. She dredges for gems. The description of when she's diving in the water and how she inhales enough air so she can dive in the water and dig up the gems. And then there's trading going on. I say this every time I mention this book. Very nautical vibes, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I would recommend this to anyone and everyone. I've read almost every book in the series. I have one left. I'm saving it. I'm trying to savor it. There is going to be another book coming out in February. I'm reading it. But yes, this book is amazing. I always think about it. And yeah, and it's just so gorgeous. It's so pretty. Under the book is so pretty too. And then my tabs are so pretty too. They match the book. And the quotes in this are so good. The quotes in Twisted Lies are really good too. And Before We Were Strangers. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I feel like my reading year, it was okay. I found a new favorite author and a new favorite series, a new favorite book. But I feel like I definitely had a much better reading year in 2022. But 2024, I'm just gonna try to be intentional with my reading. Choose books that I really want to read. I feel like I did a good job of that. A better job maybe of that in 2023. But I want to do an even better job in 2024. Also, I did like my year in books thing. So this is it. This is what it looks like. There is a book on here that I didn't mention that's 5 stars. It's Fall. It's an audiobook. It's really good. It's a short little book. It's like 40 minutes and it's a retelling and it's just about like a guy and a girl girl. I'm really summarizing it here, but about a guy and a girl, and they're just so smitten with each other. And the dialogue, like, I don't know what this author put in this book, but the dialogue between the two of them, like, they are so enamored by each other. Nothing like I've ever read ever. Especially listening to it, it just made it even more magical. And the setting was so good. It was like set in a snowy village, and people were helping each other out and cooking meals. But yeah, this is actually the end of the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your best and worst books of 2023 were. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.